Hello there, everybody. We got another horror movie tier list video. Let's freaking go. The third part in the series I'm doing. Last tier list, we looked at years 2015 to 2019. So now we got 2010 to 2014. We're going like in chunks of 4 and 5 if you notice. So let's start off with the ABCs of Death. Now, this movie is very creative. It goes through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the good stuff. And they're like little horror shorts. It's a movie full of horror shorts. Each letter has its own theme behind it. I believe A is like apocalypse or Armageddon. And it goes all the way through. Some of them were a little interesting, but then there were some that were just straight up weird. I believe letter Z was like the craziest one. Like there was some kind of like Nazis or something, and like some woman chopping their what's off, and it was just this. I think this movie's just like a little too wacky for me, but it definitely was creative. I would go back and maybe watch it again just to see, like, just to pick up on every letter. It was definitely interesting. I'll give it that. I know there's an ABCs of Death 2, I think. So maybe I need to check that one out as well. Maybe one's better than the other. I don't know. But ABCs of Death, going in meh. Next up, we have Annabelle. The first Annabelle movie, there's 3 of them. I kind of prefer the second and the third one over the first. It's okay. Didn't really do a whole lot for me. It's fine. We got this couple, they got the new baby, and things start going crazy. There's a couple good scares, like I believe when the main lady goes down into like the basement or like storage area of like the apartment or hotel they're staying at or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. I just didn't really care for it. I thought it was okay, but it's gonna go in meh. Probably above ABCs of Death because it wasn't like weird and like I could watch Annabelle again. I wouldn't really want to, but I'd put it above ABCs of Death, but it's gonna go in meh as well. And next up, we have a fan favorite in the horror genre. I do believe it is the Babadook, and this movie, the first time I watched it, thought it was kind of mid. I was like, wow, people were gassing this movie up. People were loving this movie. What gives? It was like, it would have gone in meh, but I rewatched it recently, and you know what? It has grown on me. I wouldn't say it's great, not one of my personal favorites, but I do like it. I like the message it sends. And hot take, or I don't know if it's a hot take or not, the kid in the movie, yes, I know there's a good chance he has like some kind of mental, like autism or something. I don't know. I don't know the ins and out of all that stuff. But the first half of that movie, that kid annoys the hell out of me, and I'm sure it annoyed the hell out of a lot of people. Sorry if that's a little kind of insensitive to say, but they never come out and say like straight up, yo, this kid has the tism or nothing like that. But he does push a little girl out of a treehouse, and low-key, that was kind of based. She was being a bit of a bitch. Very solid movie. I could see it staying somewhere in like the middle of good. Had some creepy moments to it, and overall, pretty good movie. Not one of my favorites, like I said, but I'll give it its flowers. I get why a lot of people do like it. Bad Milo, I don't even know if any of you have seen this. I have a movie recap of it on the channel if you want to go check it out. This movie is wild. The premise is like, what the hell? Okay. And everything works, and I love it. I love Bad Milo so much. It's not gonna go in best, but it is one of my favorite like horror comedies. Like, wow, that's the premise of the movie. Okay, they said, here, we're gonna have a little baby alien creature come out of this man's ass because of all the stress that is being built up inside of him. Kind of a weird way to go, but you know what? I dig it. I really did enjoy it. Fun cast, fun practical little puppet thing. Milo is like so adorable for being a little ass creature. Love Bad Milo. If you have not seen it, I'd recommend it. It's probably only like an hour and a half. It's worth a watch. If you don't like it, I'm sorry that you hate fun. But yeah, for me personally, goes in great. Now we have The Bay. The Bay really stuck with me. I watched it randomly. I was looking for a movie to watch at like 3 a.m., went on HBO, saw it was on there. I was like, okay, we'll put on The Bay. And it is like a mockumentary style, like found footage, but it's like using security cameras. The Bay actually kind of freaked me out when I first watched it. Maybe because it was late at night and I was just like in this quiet little room. I was staying at like my grandmother's house or something. But dude, this movie slaps. The way it's shot, the fact that it kind of feels a little too real. Like, obviously it's a movie, but I did some research and I was like, did something like this actually happen? Because no way, this seems like a little bit too realistic. But these parasites get into the water and start eating people like from the inside and like leaving them all nasty with like rashes and like stuff on their face and body. Dude, it is a nasty movie. I haven't seen it in a while because it got taken off HBO Max, but I would love to watch it again. I watched it legit a second after I watched it again a couple days later. Still enjoyed the hell out of it. I haven't seen it since though. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. I really want to rewatch it, and I really want to put it in best, but I just for some reason can't bring myself to do it. It's gonna go top of great. It's more serious than Bad Milo. I think it's shot better than Bad Milo. Gives off creepier vibes, and that's what I want out of a horror movie. But I also want to have fun, and Bad Milo is a lot of fun. So they're basically tied. Just because The Bay is more serious, I think I'll put it a bit above Bad Milo. Both of them, like I said, are pretty much tied. And now we have Black Swan. If you haven't seen the most recent My Friend Made Me Watch Black Swan, and I really enjoyed it. Go watch the full movie recap and review of it. That was like the last video that got uploaded, so hey, you know, it's pretty recent. Thoughts are still fresh. Saw it about a week and a half ago or so. Yeah, this movie slaps. Great drama, horror with a little bit of mystery and thriller thrown in there. The acting's great. Natalie Portman's awesome. I did not expect to like this movie so much. I thought it would be okay. Like, great movie. Not one of my favorites, but it was a really great movie, and I could see myself going back and watching this, you know, every year or so. If I see it on, I'll gladly rewatch it. It was a lot of fun. Loved the choreography and all the ballet stuff, and I'm not even into all that stuff, but it was really good. I really enjoyed the story. Black Swan is gonna sit in great for sure. And now we have another spoiler great movie. We have The Cabin in the Woods. Awesome movie. Lot of fun. Good mix of some comedy here and some horror there. You got Bradley Whitford back at it again. It's a movie that commentates over horror. You have the stereotypical roles like the jock, the dumb blonde, the nerd or whatever, stoner dude. Very interesting idea for a horror movie, and I think they executed it well, especially towards the end, where we see all the monsters, all the ways they could have tormented the poor people in the cabin. It all comes back to bite him in the ass, you know, in more ways than one. I'd put it slightly above Black Swan, a bit above Bad Milo, and you know what? Just a touch under The Bay, but again, these three movies right here I'd say are probably tied, depending on how I'm feeling. But Cabin in the Woods is so much fun. And now we have The Collection, the sequel to The Collector. I enjoyed both movies a whole lot, but I do prefer The Collection. It is one of my favorites. I don't know if I would put it in best, but I think I'm going to put it very tippy top of great. It's going to beat out The Bay. I love that our main character from the first movie, Arkin, is back. The Masked Man is back as well. Our main, you know, bad guy doing terrible things to people, of course, like you do. But I love that Arkin's back, our main character, and we get to root for him, and he gets to lead this group of people to go and rescue a girl. And it's like the first movie, but more like adventurous, I guess. Like they go throughout a giant-ass house or facility of some sort. And, you know, there's booby traps everywhere. Cool gore. Cool kills. Arkin, one of my favorite horror movie like protagonists. I really want to root for him, and he's a badass. Collection's going top of great, borderline best, but I don't think it's worthy of the best. Next up, we have The Conjuring. If you did watch the last tier list, you saw how much I like shouted out my love for The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 1, I do love it, but not as much as The Conjuring 2. Conjuring 2, I believe, landed itself in best, like, top 10 horror movie for me. The first Conjuring is okay. I really did like it. It just hasn't stuck with me as much. I don't know why. I think the family that they're trying to help is still nice, and it is the first Conjuring movie, so it's our introduction to the Warrens and all that good stuff, what they're all about. You know, it's all cool beans and all, but, you know, it just doesn't do as much for me as the second one did. It's probably going to go either bottom of great. I'd probably prefer Black Swan a bit more, but shoot, I didn't think we'd have this many greats this early on. But Conjuring, the first one, I think it does go in great. I really do like it. Always love the Warrens, so you know that's always going to be a plus. Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they always do a great job. Scares are there as well for the most part. So Conjuring is gonna land itself in great. And here we have Curse of Chucky. For a while, I would have said this was my favorite Child's Play / Chucky movie. And I think it's still up there, but Bride of Chucky I rewatched recently, and I think that might have my top spot. But Curse of Chucky is a lot of fun. Great return to like the more like creepiness of the Chucky movies. Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky kind of went more comedy, still threw in some horror in there, of course. But Curse of Chucky really brings it back to like, all right, now let's get some serious stuff in here. Chucky's back at it again. This time he has a whole mansion of people to kill. Got a whole family coming over. And he's got a lot of victims to claim. Also, there's some story weaving throughout the family themselves. They're having some drama and stuff going down. But it is a really fine movie. I wouldn't put it in best. But again, I do think it goes in great. I really like it. It's like my second or third favorite Chucky movie. Gotta give it some love. Would I put it over Conjuring though? Maybe. I think obviously there's a bit more fun to be had with any Chucky movie, really. It's kind of dropped a little bit on my Chucky list, but I still really, really enjoy it. I think I'm gonna put it just a smidge above The Conjuring, only because it is one of my favorite Chucky movies. But I don't think it can go any higher than that. But still, it's in great, so bravo, Chuckster. And here's a movie that I watched when I was really, really young. Probably one of the first few horror movies I ever saw. We have Devil. Handful of strangers are trapped in an elevator. One of them in there is the devil. The lights flicker and turn off, and every time they come back on, somebody's dead in a horrible way. I believe it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I know people are really like hit or miss on his stuff or whatnot. I think I've watched it at least one more time since I first watched it when I was really young, but even then, it is still like some of the scenes and the deaths have stuck with me. While not one of my favorites, it has planted itself inside of my head. Anytime I enter an elevator, and I'm not even exaggerating, this movie, like, oh, remember the horror movie Inside an Elevator, Devil? That was pretty creepy. So, I guess pretty much traumatized me as a young kid and will probably stick with me forever. But as a movie, it's fine, you know. From what I remember, it's not bad. Like I said, not one of my favorites, but it is good. It doesn't belong in the meh tier. It goes behind Babadook, and I'll never be able to escape this movie. And I do believe we have our first entry into the best tier. We have the 2013 Evil Dead. All the Evil Dead movies. I haven't seen Army of Darkness, but I would assume that as well. All the Evil Dead movies pretty much slap. And this one, probably the most gory Evil Dead movie. I know Evil Dead Rise was pretty gory. One of my favorite like scenes or kills or whatever you want to say in a horror movie was the girl in the bathroom, I forgot the character's name, slicing at her mouth with a shard of mirror or whatever. Holy crap, that visual when she's a deadite now. And that cut on her mouth, dude, holy hell, what a badass shot. Evil Dead 2013 is up there in my top 10, top 20 horror movies of all time. It's bloody, gory, part of a franchise I really like. Just a lot of creepy moments, exactly what I want out of a horror movie. Again, just like anything in great tier, if you have not seen it, you gotta go check this thing out, man. If you love the gore, if you love the blood, if you love crazy-ass shots, go watch Evil Dead 2013. Now, this movie right here is another movie that has kind of stuck with me, but for different reasons. I saw this, I believe, in theaters when I was really young. Probably the first horror movie I saw in theaters, and not just like on DVD or randomly on TV when I was like 8 or 7 or something like that. I believe I actually went to the theaters to see this. I don't know why my parents took me, but hey, whatever, I was there. And it's alright, you know, it's not gonna win any awards. It's not gonna be anyone's like personal favorite unless you have a connection to it like I somewhat have, but it's fine, you know, it's enjoyable. Our characters are cool for the most part. They're kind of, you know, meh. The main bad guy, which are like electro aliens, like lightning creatures that zip you up inside of them and turn you into ash, which is pretty nuts. So pretty cool deaths in this one. But that is honestly, for the most part, what it just has going for it. Just some cool deaths. You know, them getting zipped and turned into ash is pretty gnarly. Other than that, can't really give it too much praise other than early memory for me, so yippee. But it's gonna go above Devil. As a movie, I think Babadook's better, so I'll leave it at that. In between Babadook and Devil. Next up is Final Destination 5. They're coming out with the 6th Final Destination somewhat soon, I think, so that should be really cool. I'll be seated for that, because, you know, as kind of meh as the Final Destination franchise is, they're always some fun, at least. But I believe number 5 is probably just okay. I think it's better than The Final Destination. It has some cool kills in it, but it's one of the Final Destination movies I've seen the least, and it just hasn't really done much for me. I think it's okay. It's not gonna go in meh. Actually, it might go like top of meh. It is a Final Destination movie, so there's a little fun to be had at least, even if like the story wasn't great. And it might have been, but I really just can't remember a damn thing about Final Destination 5. It's gonna go top of meh. Maybe if I rewatched it, it would land itself in somewhere in good. I doubt it would go any higher than good because the last 2 Final Destination movies weren't all that great in my opinion. It's gonna land itself probably top of meh, maybe under Annabelle, but I believe this would be at least a bit more exciting than Annabelle. So I'm gonna put it top of meh. And now this is a movie, Finders Keepers, that I Saw on the Sci-Fi Channel. I doubt it ever got a theatrical release. It probably went straight to DVD. But it does have Tobin Bell and Jamie Presley in it, which those are two actors I really enjoy. Tobin Bell, obviously from Saw, John Kramer. And Jamie Presley is on the show Mom, that sitcom, like on CBS or whatever, that I really enjoyed. So, you know, I kept watching it. I will admit, a lot of doll-related movies, whether they're haunted or alive like Chucky or Annabelle or whatever the hell, you know, they're usually hit or miss. This one's a bit in the middle where it's not terrible. I did kind of enjoy it. But the doll is actually, like, really creepy. I forgot, like, I think the girl finds it underneath, like, a floorboard, and it's making the girl all pissy and evil or something like that. I've only seen it once. It came on TV randomly, but I remember it for the most part. I know some lady gets lit on fire. It was just a random ass horror movie that came on at 2 a.m. Sci-Fi usually shows random ass crap at 2 a.m. Finders Keepers was okay. I honestly could put it above Final Destination. Thinking about it, it probably wasn't too great. It's not gonna go no, because as actors I enjoy, and I honestly didn't hate it by any means. Like, I thought it was okay. Just for quality's sake, I'm sure Annabelle and Final Destination 5 are better. So we'll put Finders Keepers bottom of meh. The early 2010s sure did have a lot of childhood memories for me. We got Frozen, again, another horror movie I watched really early on. And just like Devil and Darkest Hour, it did stick with me. Also, it is another movie I watched back like a few months ago just to see if it kind of lives up to what I remember it being. And comparing it to Devil and Darkest Hour, I believe it is like levels above both of those. It is still like a very holy crap situation. 3 friends go on a ski lift, the resort closes for the week, and they're stuck up there. Holy crap, just that, like, idea alone is like, oh crap, that would definitely suck. As soon as the build up to, oh yeah, now they're gonna realize they're stuck, when you see the guy controlling the ski lift dip out and head out for the night, you know, ah damn, like, my heart sank to my stomach just knowing that moment was coming. And this situation is just truly awful for these characters. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but I do really enjoy it. And I would say out of like the 5 first horror movies I remember ever watching, this and The Mist are the 2 that are probably at the top of my list. Frozen was really good and still holds up. There's some silly decision making, obviously, because it's a horror movie. It's a fun ride, no pun intended, because they are on a ride, I guess, ski lift. But holy crap, this movie is just, I don't know, it just sticks with me. I will never go skiing ever, probably because 1, doesn't interest me. 2, this movie. I guess it's gonna go bottom of great, but trust me, it's worth a watch if you haven't seen it. And you wanna know what's worth a watch? Not this movie. Stephen King's A Good Marriage, another Stephen King novel turned into a movie. I sort of had high hopes for this movie because the first 10 minutes, I really enjoyed the characters. I thought it was like a lovely couple. I read what the movie was gonna be about the husband being a serial killer and the wife finds out, so what is she gonna do? This had a lot of momentum to be something, and it was more like a, woo, this is kind of a creepy situation to be in, what are you gonna do? And it just didn't reach the heights I wanted it to. It kind of got boring after the first 30 minutes. It's mainly, I know what you did, and now we're gonna talk about it for an hour until something happens. Like I said, I don't want to spoil nothing. But yeah, it is what it is. That's really what the movie is. It is what it is. Oh, you're a serial killer. Alright, honey. Okay, we'll go on with our lives, but I'm watching you. Maybe it's just not my type of movie, but I really thought it was kind of boring. It doesn't go a no, because there's something to it, but didn't do a whole lot for me. And I was also a bit let down. I thought I was actually going to enjoy it, but it's going to go bottom of meh. Moving on to Grave Encounters, I think this movie is a lot of fun, a lot of creepy moments, found footage. These group of people are going to record a ghost hunting kind of show, and they nail, like, if you've ever seen Ghost Adventures or anything like that, our main character, I forgot what his name was, but he, like, it just plays up to that so much. He's like, yo, guys, there's something in this building. We have hired an expert. Ooh, he's hearing noises. Like, he plays into it so well. Great job by the main dude, like, just going right into it. It is genuinely a pretty creepy movie. They're in a giant abandoned, like, hotel or insane asylum or something like that. Mental hospital, I think. And they get locked in overnight. Some people go crazy, especially one dude who, like, gets lost, like, halfway through the movie and we kind of forget about him. Then he comes back and he is just out of it. There are quite a few interesting scares, though. Not just like, oh, that was scary, but, like, interesting build up to the scares themselves. It's not going to go in great, but I will put it just slightly above the Babadook. Maybe after another watch of the movie, I might put it in great, but as of now, I thought it was really good. And next up, we have I Spit on Your Grave. If you don't know anything about this movie, it's probably for the best. This woman gets sexually assaulted and raped by these dudes, and she comes back and kicks the shit out of all of them, which that's cool, but you gotta kind of watch that first part in order to finally get to her kicking ass and shit and beating the hell out of people. Not a movie I ever want to watch again. It is, it's cool that they all got what they deserved, duh, but it wasn't an enjoyable watch. It wasn't the greatest movie. Well, I'm sure maybe there's an audience for, like, revenge stuff like this, or maybe there's revenge movies that are done a bit better. This goes in no. Our first no of the video. I don't ever want to watch this again. Next up, we got somewhat of a heavy hitter. We have Insidious. Now, this is the only Insidious movie I've seen. Not the biggest fan of it. It has Patrick Wilson in it. That's awesome. Love that guy. Darth Maul's cool and all. We got the little jump scare while they're at the table. It's kind of a somewhat iconic jump scare. The red lipstick-faced painted dude, whatever, like, lipstick face. What did they call that demon guy? I don't know. Either way, I know some people really like Insidious. For me, it was fine. It wasn't bad. Like, it honestly isn't even gonna go in meh, but I just didn't care for it all that much. I think The Conjuring's way better. I don't know if it's fair to compare the two. It's gonna go in the bottom of good because I wouldn't put it in the same tier as these movies down here. Insidious is fine, but, like, bottom of the barrel fine. I didn't really care for it. It has some good scares in it. Not one of my favorites, but it definitely isn't bad. And next up, we have It Follows. The first time I watched this movie, I really loved it. I thought it was great, and I really enjoyed it. Then I rewatched it, and for some reason, it just didn't click like the first time. I don't know what happened. I still thought it was a well-made movie and had some pretty creepy moments, and I enjoyed it, but I guess my level of hype drained a bit. I don't even know how. This is like one of the only movies where I loved it on first watch, and then after rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, that was just pretty alright. So I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe just like my mind or my view on watching movies changed a bit. Maybe, I don't know, it's probably mainly a me thing, but I still think It Follows is a very fun movie. Interesting little story, like an STD demon following you, like It Follows. All the strangers are, people that might not be strangers, like slowly walking and creeping towards you. That's pretty terrifying, if you were in that situation. It's gonna go above Darkest Hour, probably above Babadook. I don't know if I'd put it above Grave Encounters. I think it is like kind of like a Bay and Bad Milo situation where I had them tied for a bit. These two are probably a little bit interchangeable. Maybe I need to watch It Follows for a third time and it'll finally like level out my opinion on it. But for now, I'm going to put It Follows a smidge above Grave Encounters. I do think it's a better made movie. I think it's a more interesting movie instead of like a ghost hunting show gone wrong type of thing. But like I said, they're tied. It Follows is still good. And here we have Legion, once again going in that category of horror movies I saw when I was pretty young. I remember it being pretty creepy. The two scenes that stuck with me the most were the Ice Cream Man, which even rewatching that clip back, and I also rewatched this movie about a month ago, still pretty freaky, dude. The Ice Cream Truck Man, or whatever the hell, if you know what I'm talking about, Ice Cream Truck rolls up to this bar or whatever, this diner in the middle of nowhere. This skinny dude comes out and his limbs just grow and he starts shrieking and he's this giant crawly dude. Holy hell, is that freaky. Young me thought it was terrifying. Current me thought, wow, that's really unsettling and kind of weird. And then there's another scene where a character I really enjoyed when I was younger, like I thought, oh, this guy's really cool, I like him. He dies in a very unfortunate way, and it's like, bummer. And as a kid, it was like, damn, he died, I hate that. And current me, rewatching it, knowing he's gonna die, it's still sad because I do like the character. I won't spoil the character's name in case you haven't seen the movie. But Legion overall is kind of alright. It has some like religious themes in there. I think it's like based on Gabriel and like, I don't know, some baby that's gonna be born is gonna save the world. And like God's pissed that humanity sucks and Earth is like terrible or something like that. I kind of already forgot. It's not a movie that really like sticks with you like story wise, for me personally at least. Just like it's more of like a movie that has cool moments in it, but the story itself is like, all right, yeah, sure. But there's some freaky ass moments in it. It can be a fun watch, maybe like a once every other year thing for me. It's gonna go in good somewhere, probably above Darkest Hour. And I think I'll leave it under Babadook. And next up is Mother's Day. This movie, holy crap, dude. When I first watched it, I thought it was going to be kind of nothing, kind of mid. but I really enjoyed this movie. It's sort of intense. We have like these bad guys breaking into a house, and the main mother herself, she is so sadistic. Love her character. There's a lot of holy crap moments, like, characters dying off like in shocking ways or just out of the blue, or characters making an attempt to escape the basement. This movie is like put together so well, and I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it. I really think Mother's Day is a hidden gem, and you should definitely go check it out. Next up, we got Nightmare on Elm Street, the 2010 reboot. Now, I really don't care about this movie. While it isn't bad, it just has no reason to exist other than we haven't heard the Nightmare on Elm Street name in a while. Let's make another movie for money. But Freddy in this one, more sadistic, a lot more evil, because instead of just killing kids and the parents wanting revenge and the kids seeing him in their dreams when they're all grown up, he did more than just kill the kids. He was nasty, and I don't want to root for that guy. You're not supposed to root for that guy. But Robert Englund as Freddy, the OG Freddy, he's fun. It's like when you see him on screen, we want to see him kill and have some fun. This Freddy, while he is creepy and kind of cool, but, he has a more terrible backstory. It's like, I don't want to be like, yeah, nice kill, you fucking freak. So it is what it is in that regard. The scenes that they recreate from the original, it's all like CGI'd, and it's not as cool looking. The original has its charm. This one just tries to copy it, and it does not do a good job. And while I won't put it in no, because maybe me a few years ago would have been, no, absolutely not, this movie sucks. After like a somewhat recent rewatch, it's not that bad, but it still doesn't really have a reason to exist, and it's not boring like A Good Marriage, and I'd rather watch it again over ABCs of Death, but maybe also about Finders Keepers. But other than that, I can't really put it any higher. It's just the first one, but poorly remade with the somewhat more sinister Freddy, which is cool until they go the extra step with his backstory, and it's disappointing. Now we have Piranha 3D. This movie is kind of stupid, but it's also pretty fun. A lot of killer piranhas, a lot of boobs, a lot of dumb and annoying characters, but, it is kind of a good time. The first few times watching it, it's a good time, but after a while, the charm wears off. I've seen this movie like 5 times. Love me some Adam Scott. He's in it. One of the main reasons I do enjoy the movie, because I'm a big Adam Scott guy. But, other than that, middle of the road movie. Seeing all the piranhas like kill things and shred them, that's kind of cool, I guess. Other than that, not a whole lot going for it. It'll go a tiny bit above Legion. It's more fun than the Babadook, but I think the Babadook's a better movie. So Piranha 3D is gonna go in good. Now we have a movie about a killer tire. That's right, we got Rubber. If you've never seen the movie, you're probably thinking, huh? A killer tire? What the hell? Well, let me tell ya. The tire, it rolls around, it wiggles, it wobbles, it shakes, and then it blows your head up. And you might say that's really dumb, and the movie itself, yeah, it is kind of dumb. But you know what? It has a certain charm to it. It's silly. It's kind of like right up my lane of stupid. Rubber, I had an alright time watching it. I could watch it again. It really does no harm. If you're into kind of stupid stuff like this, it's kind of an odd movie. It's gonna go somewhere in good. Definitely not in meh. It's gonna go above Legion and maybe Piranha, just because it has that, wow, that's what this movie's gonna be about, okay, kind of vibe to it. But I'll put it under Piranha 3D. It's gonna go in good. It's it's really stupid. And we have Saw the final chapter, Saw 3D, Saw 7, and you know what? Probably one of my least favorite Saw movies. It's not terrible. The traps are kind of, in a Saw movie, you want awesome traps and an awesome game being played. There's like the speak no evil, hear no evil. Some of them are vicious, some of them are kind of middle of the road. Saw the final chapter, actually, I'd probably put it top of good, maybe above Grave Encounters and It Follows. Probably not above It Follows, but it lands itself top of good. And if you're wondering why, because I just kind of talk crap about it, it's still fine, and it still is a Saw movie, and even a fine Saw movie is a good movie in general, in my opinion. And next up, we got Scream 4, a possible entry into the best tier, but it's gonna be teeter-tottering, I do think. Scream 4 is probably like my 3rd or 4th favorite Scream movie. Jill and Kirby are 2 of my favorite, more newer additions to the Scream franchise. Love their characters a lot. Also, the Ghostface reveal, pretty cool. It's up there, top 2, top 3 in my opinion. And it is always cool to see the gang back together. We got Dewey, we got Sydney, we got Gale. You know, of course, we love them all. I love the Scream franchise a lot. It's gonna go top of great, a touch above the collection. If it wasn't a part of a franchise I really love, I could see it going down a tiny bit. But because it is, and because it's one of my favorites in that franchise, it's gonna sit top of great, but I don't think I could put it in best. But there is a case to be made though. But for now, top of great. And here we have See No Evil 2. I didn't see the first one, but I saw the second one because it was on Tubi for free, and I said, why not? And Kane's in it, WWE superstar Kane, now the current mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, I think, or something like that. He's kind of a dipshit when it comes to the mayoral stuff, but as a wrestler, he was cool. And in this movie, he's kind of cool too. He's like an unkillable machine, and he's just killing people. There's really not too much to the movie. I think I'm going to put it very top of meh, because there's not a whole lot going for it. It didn't really stick with me. Couldn't really tell you like what the story was or a character's name or even specific kills, but I do know I had some fun watching it. So top of meh goes. Speaking of fun watching it, we have Sharknado. Just like Rubber, this is right up my alley of stupid, straight to sci-fi, straight to TV movie. But you know what? It is just wacky. But I love that kind of stuff, man. We got tornadoes, and we got sharks in the tornadoes, and the sharks get launched out of the tornado, and the sharks land on people, they bite people, they kill people. It's just, it is so stupid, but it holds a special place in my heart. The whole Sharknado franchise has a special place in my heart. It's going good. Above Insidious, damn right. Above Devil, probably. Above Darkest Hour, and I think I'll leave it at that. I'm sure some of you are amazed it got this high up, but Sharknado is so dumb, but it is my dumb. And now we have Sinister, probably one of the scariest horror movies I've seen. A lot of jump scares, and I hate jump scares, not because I think they're dumb, some of them are, but because I hate being, like, surprised and, like, I hate that jumped feeling. So a jump scare, you know, sucks for me, and there's a lot of them, and a lot of good ones. Obviously, we got the lawnmower. We got Bagul in there. He's hella creepy. He's hidden in a lot of shots. He makes some little jump scare appearances. Just a movie filled with really good jump scares. It's not one of my personal favorites, but I will admit, dude, it is a good horror movie. So it's gonna go bottom of great. I think Mother's Day is a bit more like clever, fun, and intense. A good mix of everything. Sinister, though, as much as it's not like a personal favorite, and as much as I hate jump scares, I gotta give it praise, dude. Bottom of great, it goes for sure. If I was more into that, it'd definitely be a lot higher. And I'm sure a lot of you would put it in best. And I can't say I blame you. Now we're moving on to Stitches, a very fun, very gory killer clown movie. A clown gets killed, he comes back to life years later, I think, and he kills the people that were at the birthday party, but now they're all grown up, throwing a party of their own. Lot of creative kills, a lot of silly clown shenanigans. It's a lot of fun. A lot of cool effects in there as well. I love me some cool death effects and practical effects and blood and all crazy ass props and whatnot. And while it's not one of my top favorites by any means, I still think it's a lot of fun. It'll go in good, probably the top of good somewhere. Under Babadook. And now we have Texas Chainsaw 3D. Now the middle of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, where like the series like first got rebooted, that portion's a little messy for me, so if for some reason I get all the details of this wrong, I'm sorry, but I believe this is the one where there are two families, the Carlsons and the Sawyers or something like that. Alexandra Daddario inherits a house from her grandmother or mother or something like that, and she's related to the family of Leatherface himself. Maybe I got some details mixed up there. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Texas Chainsaw movies, and I'm not too familiar with them. Leatherface himself, Bubba or Jed or whatever the hell, he's her cousin, and so she inherits this house, and he's living at the bottom of the house, kills people. It's kind of like a meh Texas Chainsaw reboot. Came out 2013, but it's attached to the first reboot. Like, it's connected to the rebooted part of it. I don't know. I think this is the one, because this is Alexandra Daddario's movie. I think this is the one where at the end of the movie, she tosses him a chainsaw and legit, she says, "Do your thing, cuz." Forgive me if that's a different movie, but oh my god, dude. What the hell is that? It has some fun moments to it. I'm not gonna, like, totally crap on it. I don't hate the movie, but you know, it is just, you know, it's not great. It's not great, and that's all I'll say. It does do things differently than the Nightmare reboot, so I gotta put it above that. it has more fun moments, and I'd rather rewatch it, as silly as that may sound, than the first Annabelle. It goes top of meh. I've seen this thing like a couple times now. As you can tell by my reaction, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, but it's not terrible, even though I feel like a lot of people either will hate this movie or like this movie a lot. I guess I'm like somewhere in the middle, but it's going top of meh. And to end this tier list, our last movie is Your Next, a very good home invasion style movie. These criminals break into a big ass house while this family is having a giant dinner slash get together or whatever the hell. A lot of intense moments, a lot of cool action. Our main lady that is brought to the party, I believe she's Australian or something like that, and she is hella kick-ass. She'd be taking out them criminals like that and that. This is a very good horror movie and has a pretty good twist to it. I do not want to reveal that twist like I kind of did with some of these movies, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But take my word for it, it is a very good horror movie. Again, it's in that little section where it could bridge to best, and I'm really debating on putting it in best. It has been a while since I've seen it, and I want to say that if I did rewatch it recently, it could land itself in best, but it's been a little while since I've seen it, so my memory's a little foggy, but this is a very good horror movie, and I think it goes possibly above Scream 4. Your Next through Cabin in the Woods could be moved up to best depending on who you are. But Evil Dead just feels like it's in a league of its own, so that's why everything else is sitting very top of great, or just, in the great tier. But yeah, You're Next, lot of fun, very cool, great twist, really everything you want in that kind of movie. So even if you're not into horror, as an action movie, as a thriller, hell yeah, it's good. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your favorites from this list in the comments. Let me know what movies you love, what movies you hate. Make sure to get ready for years 2005 to 2009. That'll be the next one. I try to release these every other couple of weeks or so. So expect it sometime in late February or early March. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.